Okay, so Rocco is a very nervous dog, and he really does not like people coming into his house, and he barks at them nonstop. Now, his guardians were making a couple of mistakes that they were unaware of, and these are pretty common mistakes. What a lot of people do is we pick up the dog if we have a little dog. And little dogs, for all dogs, really the higher they sit or stand, the more social status they have or rank amongst their peers. So if a dog is doing something we don't like and we pick it up, we're essentially rewarding it. And the other thing the guardians were doing is they were petting the dog when he was worked up, which is their parents. It's normal for us when a baby falls, we pick up the baby and rock the baby. And you could hear all the barking that he was doing in the first video. He did that for like the first hour before I actually used a little leash technique to stop him. But now he's calmed down quite a bit, and he's actually started taking some treats from my hands. Now, I have not tried to pet him. I have not looked at him. I have not tried to talk to him. A lot of times people think that petting the dog is what we're going to need to do to get the dog to trust us. But in a lot of cases, that actually the dog's not comfortable with us to begin with. Petting them is the last thing that we want to do. We want to just kind of be calm and quiet. So I'm holding my hand here with a treat, and you saw he's coming over, but you see he's leaning way far away. So he's not fully trusting and comforting me. Now, when I do deliver the treat, I would prefer to deliver it sideways. I'm going to try to do that again. We'll see if we can get him to take a treat. Now, that movement caused that barking. So in his mind, he is in charge of everything. And so he's stressed out, and he's insecure, and he's a puppy. And so we have a combination of things that are causing him distress. So I'm making a little bit of a treat trail, and then when he gets closer to me, then I'm going to hopefully have my hand here with a couple of treats. So we call this a jackpot. There's like 3 treats there. And I'll throw one over here to get him to see if he'll come a little bit closer. And he's not having anything to do with it. So I'm probably just going to describe what's going on. There we go. All right, he's coming over. Now, when this is happening, it's important the person here doesn't move like me and doesn't use a lot of movement or doesn't talk loudly or things along those lines. You see that movement caused him to want to move away. So we're going to try to do that one more time, see if we can get him to take these. And I'm going to look away from him while he's doing this, where hopefully he'll come and take the treats out of my hand too. Now, if you notice, I left my hand there. I didn't take it away once I took the treats. If you move it, that can cause a nipping response from him. Also, a lot of times they'll come back and lick the hand a second time, thinking that they didn't get all the treat. So this way, we can get a little bit more interaction from the dog to the human. Now, what I would recommend we do is when the humans have guests come over, and what we'd like to do ideally is get a neighbor, because these should be really short visits. What I would do is I'd get the tricky trainers, and I'm going to leave the bag of treats that I have here with you. These are chicken liver, and they're soft, and they have a tremendous aroma. If you use like a biscuit or a cookie, he's not going to be that interested in it. You could probably just film me at this point. There we go. So now he approached, not any on the floor, and came and took it out of my hand, and again, see how he's still licking. That was because I gave him a little eye contact. And so again, it's important that your guests, when they come over, they're going to take direction from you and not move around too much. So what I would do is I would basically have the guests come over, try to have a neighbor so they can do this for a short 5-minute visit. When they come over, give them about 5 treats. Have them of these treats. These treats are great because as long as you keep the bags shut, you can tear them in half. So what I'm going to have you do is hand them to the person, have them in their doorway, tear each one of them in half, and then have them walk in. And after they've taken 2 steps in your house, drop 1 treat. And then this is as they're walking, don't stop. Drop a treat, and then take 2 more steps, drop another treat. And so they're going to do that until they get all the way to this chair here. And then they're going to sit down. Then what we're going to do is the dog's going to be probably fired up, but eventually he's going to come and take those treats. Now, he might take all the treats. He might only take them and stop taking them when he gets close enough to this person. That's okay. The more we practice this, the more comfortable he's going to get with that person, and the more people in general, he'll eventually get to the point where he'll come take treats from anybody. So the idea is we come and sit down, and so we're trying to build up a positive association. So when neighbors come by or visitors come, treats literally fall from the sky. It's a good positive thing. And then they don't try to touch me. They move slowly. They don't look at me directly. All those things are things that cause him to be reactive. And when they come here, I don't think that they're going to get him to take treats out of their hand like they were for me. It's going to take a little bit of time. I know how to use really soft body language. And the person doesn't want to catch him by surprise. So if like they're about to sneeze, you might want to just say, and then do your sneeze after. So the dog is looking at you, so he doesn't think you're trying to pull one over him. If they have to move, I tell people to move as if you're as if you're moving underwater, very fluid. I can move, but my movements are a lot slower. He sees what's going on. A sudden quick movement, he might think we're trying to catch him off guard. So once he comes over and takes us to treats, and then if then we're going to have the person just kind of hang out here. They could, if they have a couple more treats, they can just toss them on the floor and let him come over and take them. And if I toss it, if he's sitting here and he tosses it here and the dog won't take it, this is good. He's doing really well. He's coming over to no treat. Then we toss the next one a little bit further away. There'll be a distance where he feels comfortable enough to come and take them. And again, don't worry about taking them out of his hand like this. I'm doing this because I put in a lot of work, and I want to be able to work with him a little bit more. But most people aren't going to achieve this until they've been here a couple of visits. So after they've done this a couple times, then they would want to leave. And when they leave, I would, again, drop treats. But I would just drop the treats in the living room. So maybe 2 steps, 2 steps, 2 steps, and then when you get on the tile, the person just leaves. And don't react to him if he's barking or reacting. We're just going to ignore. Now, if he is barking and reacting when the person comes in, what I like the guardians to do is put him on a leash, and we're going to have the person here pick up their foot. We're going to have them stand on the leash, and what you might want to actually do, one of the guardians here, is actually take the leash and have the person and wrap it like twice around their foot. And then the person puts their foot down. So a lot of leashes are coated in wax, and they'll slip and slide. The idea is we want to block him from being able to run away. I tried to give him a chance to settle down himself, but it was almost an hour, and he was still barking. Barking a lot less because of the positive reinforcers, but it drives you crazy hearing a dog bark like that. So if they step on it, the person makes sure that they do not pet, talk, or interact with him. All we want the dog to do is practice being next to a human where nothing bad happens. And after the dog sits or lies down, then you can come over, undo the leash around their shoe, then give them the additional treats. They get up and they walk them out like I described earlier. So, and ideally we'd like to have, it's probably going to be, you're going to notice at first a couple of iterations from one person before he gets comfortable. When they're actually sitting here in the chair and they want to offer him a treat, they should offer it from the side. He just jumped up on the chair. He's trying to jump up on the now here's something interesting. Yes, please go. Anything your dog is doing when you pet it is what you're reinforcing. Also, anything your dog does in your presence that you don't disagree with, you're saying, I give it 2 thumbs up. So if he's there,
off.
Good job. And pet him now and say off. Pet him real quick, right now, and say off. And again, try to do it under his chin. I always want to try to pet under the chin when we're rewarding a dog. It helps them feel better about themselves. But if he jumps up on the table and you're sitting here and like, there's nothing on the table, and you don't march over there, you're telling him that that doesn't bother me and it's okay. That's green lit. So anything he's doing, you have to react right away. If you do this for a month, the dog will get in the habit of doing these things. We're a little bit off subject here, but I call them as I see them. So basically what we want to do is create that positive association when people come in, and after enough practice and repetitions, he'll start to, probably for each individual, start feeling a little bit more comfortable with that person. And it might be 2 visits, 4 visits. It's going to depend on the energy. You might get a person who's really high strung and really loud and all that. That might take longer for him to warm up to that person. Somebody that's going to be calmer, quieter, can move slower, is going to be easier for him to process. But the more that we enforce these rules and pet with a purpose, I'm getting into the roadmap to success, so I'm going to end this video here in a sec. So basically keep on repeating this, coming in, sitting, dropping the treats as I outlined, and then leaving. Stepping on a leash if we need to. We're only going to step on the leash, though, if he starts barking at the person after the person sits down. Hopefully, within a short period of time, he no longer barks when the person comes in and sits down. Or if he barks a little bit and then settles himself down. Give him a couple minutes, to settle down first, and have the person just throwing the treats. What we should see is less and less barking. He's doing this all out of an insecurity. So, but if we can create a positive association with the arrival of guests, he's going to feel more comfortable about that and look forward to it and stop being so reactive. This is how you can use positive reinforcement to help your dog stop barking at guests who visit your home.